29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14. 13. 12.
11.
10.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2.
1. 0.
Well, we're going to see how this goes because this is probably going to be the replacement for the Friday Night Live feeds. I'm just going to start doing this at like lunchtime on Saturday because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of just fed up with the whole Friday night thing. I've changed the time. It doesn't seem to help. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pick a different day for the Friday live feed. We're just going to turn it into a Saturday live feed. But if it doesn't look like we're getting any traction because there's only 4 people here, then we may reschedule that. I just might stop doing so many live feeds because not going to lie to you guys, as much as I enjoy spending time with you guys on live feeds, it's a waste. It's a waste of all my resources to even do this. So Murky's here, Mock Clown's here. I've got some new stuff that came in. I've got a knife in pocket. You guys, I believe, have not seen the first day in pockets on. It is the Legatus, the QSP Legatus. You guys saw the unboxing, but you haven't got to see the actual video about it. So we'll talk about some of that stuff. But like I said, if there's only be like 5 people here, we'll just do this as a quick just announcement of that this is going to be a new thing going forward because I really don't like. I'm not going to stay on here as much as I love you guys. I don't love it enough to stay here and talk to the same 5 people. It's not anywhere near as much fun when there's not as many people. I talked to Will B this morning. He was at Riverside Cutlery, River's Edge Cutlery. So yeah, we'll have to see how everything goes with these lunchtime live feeds on Saturdays. I don't know. I know a lot of people do stuff on Saturdays, but I can't help it. I can't compete with other channels that decide they want to run 5-6 hour live feeds, even though I'm pretty respectful of everybody else's time. I figured we'd put the actual microphone in the shot like everybody else does. So what's everybody got in pocket today? See, people are leaving. Yeah, this is going to be a very dull live feed if there's no interaction. I don't really have any plans. I had some plans. I have some pages. A PM 15V. Darth BMX. What's up, buddy? Not carrying everything right now? Not carrying anything right now, you mean? Because there's no way you're carrying everything. Unless you're homeless and you're just carrying all your shit around in a box. Yeah, I know Will is driving Custom EC Manix 2 and 15V. That's funny because I'm carrying your knife in my waistband today. I got news for you. Don't have any big plans on this one coming back, Daniel. Daniel, I was going to text you and send you a link so you could come on, but the problem is I cannot find my phone that has you point of contact in it. Its battery's probably dead on it anyway. I have no idea where that phone is at right now. I have looked all over. I've called it. It may be in my wife's car. My wife is not here. Or I would have sent you a link so that you could come on and talk about it. But just so you guys know, there is a sale going on this knife. The unboxing video goes up tomorrow. This is so thin behind the edge. And this is just the production version. There is a hand ground version or a reground version that he's doing that's even thinner. So this is 0.018 behind the edge. Daniel, when's the sale end? King of Knives, PM2 and S45 VN. I like S45 VN. It's a good steel. I like the PM2. I'm not a fan of a lot of the Spyderco knives. I'm not gonna lie. And I figured it out when I was looking at their new product reveal line and I saw a bunch of their stuff. All of their knives look the fucking same. There's only a couple that are an exception. And I mean, they still look like other knives. I like you guys know, I like the Endura series. So the Delica, the Endura, the Police, and that. So the Police is a very distinct looking knife. And I like that. And then ends June 1st. So June 1st, you can save, what is it, $25 off, Daniel? I can't remember. On the on ordering a production Warentac. This thing is great. I've done a good bit of cutting with it already. This thing is slicey, like dangerously slicey. So this is Precision Knife Works. What is it? PrecisionKnifeWorksUSA.com is what I believe it is. It is Precision Knife Works, custom EDC knives there. This is the Warentac full production, and there's been very few changes. I had the prototype. We watched the video. We did a video about the prototype, and it did really well, but it was not as thin as what this one is. This is ridiculously thin, hollow ground, down to next to nothing. 0.018 behind the edge on this. And it just is a very good, plain, bare bones Wharncliffe that is ridiculously good in hand and super sharp. And he's here in California. He sent this down to me. I have his address now, so I'll send him his winnings as a paying member. I'm gonna get your stuff to you, Robert. I've just got to get it figured out. I tried to send it off, Robert, and it did come back to me. I think I screwed up I screwed up the customs form. So I'll let you know when it goes back out. I'm just going to tighten the pivot down on everything or take the blades out of everything. Some of the stuff I put in, I was like, you know what? I probably should go back and see, because some of them you can still manipulate with a good wrist flick. And so if you wrist flick the crap out of it, it still would flip. So I don't want any of that stuff that's coming to you to get it flagged. So, but yeah, I've come to the conclusion that it's not that I don't like Spyderco. It's just that they're all so, yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're taking them down to 0.010 behind the edge, which I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of the thinnest behind the edge knives that I've handled in a while. 0.009 was what I did my buddy's custom knife that I made, the hollow grind on it. And it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous how thin that is. So 0.018 is already one of the thinner knives you're ever going to find on the market. And it screams through everything. This is in M390 and titanium. And on top of everything, this thing is ridiculously light. Ridiculously light. So, forgot to do the obligatory Coffee Brand coffee. I'm actually drinking Coffee Brand coffee, strawberries and cream right now. It's amazing. You guys should go check them out. Like I said, I've said it a bunch of times. I never thought I'd reach a point where I had to navigate a political minefield when I went shopping at the grocery store, but it's become that. And that's why I like Coffee Brand coffee, because they don't do any political leanings. They're completely apolitical, which is what I'm looking for in companies these days. I don't want them to take a stance either way. I just want them to make their product and not use my money against me. Yeah, Nathan, it is really good. It is really, like, when it came, I could smell it. I could smell it through the bag, and I was like, that is very strong strawberry. Another new knife that came in, and you guys, I have links to these individual places, Artisan Cutlery and stuff like that. They're in my description of videos. The Wharncliffe Pyrite is another great knife. It is up there. This is another new one that CJRB did, and it is up there with some of the other knives that are on the market are way more expensive. It's not, in my opinion, it's not as good as the Echo for me, but I've been carrying this one a lot. So I have a titanium pyrite drop point that's going to go to you guys. And I have a liner lock Echo that's going to go as giveaway stuff. It's all going to be paying member stuff. I have decided, since there is definitely a flaw with the prototype Echo I have, I'm keeping that steel button lock. Plus, I've already cut with it a bunch. The same reason I'm keeping this one. I've screwed the finish up on it in a few places. You could see I've dropped it once or twice. So this one's not going to. I don't like giving away things that aren't either mint or just very, very close to mint. So I would much rather have it be brand new. I'll reach out to Artisan and CJRB and see if they'll provide me one for giveaway. I just don't feel comfortable giving away something that's been heavily used, which most of these knives that they've sent me, a few of them have. And a lot of times it's prototypes. Still over at the G spot. What are you talking about, Happy? Who is live now? Who is live as well? What is the G spot? Still over at the G spot. I don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, I've shined. You can see the finish on it it's kind of wrecked. And so is that Echo. And since I did some cutting with it, I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep the button lock Echo, because the prototype has developed a good bit of. I have no idea who that is. Nathan, does not surprise me that you can't find the G spot. I don't know who G Ball is. I don't even pay attention. There's just no way to have a live feed where there's just going to be people here. It fucking sucks. I honestly think that I'm going to stop doing live feeds. It just seems like a monumental waste of time. Everybody enjoys them, but no one shows up. Everybody's like, oh, I love them. Don't get rid of them. But I'm like, well, you never show up. Like, I publicize it. I put out the notification, and it's not, I'm not trying to sound like I'm not pouting. I'm just saying there's obviously other things that you guys want to watch. So why should I do it? You see what I'm saying? Like, obviously there's so much other stuff that everybody else wants to watch. I'll just stop doing stuff because it's kind of a waste of my time. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely a waste of my time. And that's the one resource I can't get back, as my daughter reminded me, which is why we're doing less. That's why we're doing live feeds during the week now, during the day, because I'm giving up a lot of time I won't ever get back with my daughter. And so they're not here right now. It's the only reason I'm doing it. So I think G Ball's been on here. I just didn't know he had a. Let me see. Allow me to peruse some stuff. So there's 14 people here. I don't even see it. I don't even know what his channel is like. What is it? G Ball Knives? What's the actual channel? I'm trying to see it, so I can't. Is it G Ball Vision? Oh yeah, there we go. Maybe I'll get with him. We'll figure something out so we're not stepping over each other, because if you guys want to watch that, I mean, I am personally fine with working with people. I'm not going to call out any other people who may just decide that they're just going to, even though we've talked about it. I'm perfectly fine with working with people and finding a schedule where we can both run a live feed. Tell him, go on and tell him if he wants to come over. I'm doing a live. And tell him I will send him I'll send him a message. Tell him to follow me on Instagram, and I'll send him a message, and we'll work out a thing where we don't step over each other. Because I think I'm just going to stop doing the Friday night live feeds. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense because I'm not getting any traffic, and it just seems like a waste. I wanted to pull up a couple. What else did I have that was new? Oh, well, you guys saw the video that went up yesterday. This, well, it's not like knife of the year, and mainly because it's going to be so hard to beat the Echo because it hits so many wickets. The Echo hits every wicket I want in a knife. Price, feel, action, blade shape, the way it cuts, the fact it's got a top flipper or front flipper that I like, which this one does as well. This one does as well have a front flipper that I like, or top flipper, front flipper, top flipper. Typically, I don't like them. This one is good. There's just so many things that the Echo does, and does at a price point that is insanely good. I would like to say it would be budget knife of the year, but I can't. It's beating so many knives. So yeah, this is another one I recommend. I was talking with Eric. He's got some on his website. Oaksworks.com, I believe is what it is. This is an incredibly good knife. If you guys didn't see the video that went up yesterday about it, you may want to. So it's a very, very good knife. I like this a lot. It's very similar to the Olamic Busker. It's very similar to the, well, that's funny that you should mention that. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have an affiliate link with Eric. We've talked about it. I'm talking about Eric's knives and that you should go buy them without making a penny. So that should tell you something about the channel. I'm not somebody that's going to turn down an item coming in for review because I can't put a link. I have a knife here that's not available yet that I offered to several YouTubers, and they're like, nah, if it's not available and I can't put a link up, I don't want it. And I'm like, okay. So the Oaksworks Solar Storm was my knife of the year pick because it does so many things better than the Benchmade 940 until this came in. But before I even got to say anything that this was my new knife of the year, I got the Echo, and the Echo beat both of them. So this thing is great. This is one of the best knives. It's everything I wanted in the Benchmade 940. Everything I wanted in the Benchmade 940 without the garbage that comes from being a Benchmade, which I'm done with. I've told you guys, I'm done with so many things about Benchmade, like their price, their quality, so many things. And I'm just done. I'm not going to pay that butterfly tax anymore. I would never, as much as I like the 940 design, I wouldn't, if it was, oh, should I get a 940 because it's an iconic knife? No, you shouldn't. At this point, it's not worth it. It's not a good knife. And I'm not talking about blade thickness and things like that. There's so many quality issues with, there's just too many quality issues with those knives. I have not had a good one yet. I haven't had a good 940 in a very long time. Yeah, I don't understand why they won't show a knife if it's unavailable. I mean, I try not to show stuff that you can't get. Like most of the knives you're going to see on the channel, you can get somewhere. But just because I can't sell you that knife with one of my links that's down in the description, that's not going to stop me from talking about it. And this spends a lot of time in my pocket. And I mean a lot of time in my pocket. That's most of the new stuff that came to the channel. I do have one more that you guys have seen a few times, and I'm going to do the final review of it. But there's a video that I already, hang on a second, let me check and see. I don't think it went up yet. Let me look at my dashboard and see my content. I'm trying to see if you guys have gotten it yet. Visibility draft. Well, that's weird because it absolutely should be up here. I'm trying to see. I did a video, and I don't want to sound like an idiot by saying that. No, you guys haven't seen it. Okay, so I filmed a video, and apparently I haven't uploaded it yet. So that's on me. I did a video that had this knife in it, and I was doing a lot of comparisons on a much more expensive knife. This is the PMP Aries, and I know you guys have seen it a few times, but this is this is a great, great knife. This knife is way up there with custom qualities. Matter of fact, this came from one of my paying members. This came from Mr. Winston Cobretti, who is stopping by today. When we finish the live feed, he's going to stop by for a little bit. He's going to see the puppy. He comes here every once in a while. 2A Dave is coming over tomorrow. So you guys that are like paying members, if you think that that friendship, that bond that we're forming in the Gilded server is wasted, local, like there's a lot of my local members and subscribers that I'm willing to meet with. Speaking of which, the Inland Empire knife meetup is going to happen. We're going to do it. Nico and I are going to talk about it again this week and probably next weekend as well. We're trying to hammer out a date because his wife has a trip that he's going on with her. We're trying to get that July date hammered down. We've got to figure it out, but we are going to put out the notification. You're going to have, if you're coming, you're going to have to order tickets. You'll be able to get in at the door, but it's going to be a paid entry kind of thing. And with that, you'll automatically get entered into, like, there's going to be some door prizes, but you're going to get some drinks with it because it's at a tap house. And the price, if you're coming, can include lodging. Nico is going to try and get as many rooms at the local hotel right there in Banning. And so we're going to try and get that all set up so you guys don't have to worry about like, oh, how do I get home after? You can just stay there. There'll be lodging if you want to double up in rooms, like if it's a couple of you and you're coming, we'll get that figured out. There'll be a set number of drinks you get. There'll be entry tickets into door prizes. We're probably going to have someplace providing food at your cost. We're not providing free food, like a food truck or like a taco truck or something like that. There will be a couple companies that are either going to be there or providing things for the giveaways. But basically what we're going to try and do is just get a bunch of people to meet up. We're going to have a corner table that's going to be our equivalent. So at USN, you have the Cove. At Blade Show, you have the Pit. We're thinking we're going to have the Swamp because it's going to be July. Everybody's going to be sweaty. We're going to have that corner area, and that's going to be the little knife trade area where you can set up. And if you got stuff you want to sell or if you want to trade for stuff, that's where we're going to do it. So it's going to be fun. We did one once before. I'm pretty sure Elliot Williamson's probably going to be there from Fair and Forge. I'm trying to talk with a couple folks that I know that are local knife makers to see if they want to come. I'm working on trying to get Nathan from Tempered Trail to be there because I don't know if you guys know this. He also is Rat Bastard, who makes the Enigma Pry Bar. So it should be a lot of fun. We should have a lot of fun. I mean, even if we can't get the people, even if we can't get like the people to show up from companies and stuff, it just will be fun. I'll have my knife collection there, like a bunch of my stuff there. Nico always has his whole knife collection. Now, I will say that's a pain because we've almost had knives walk off before when we have our full collection around. So we're gonna be very picky about how we do that. I've got knives in my collection that I would be devastated if they disappeared. Like knives that outside of their I'm not talking about financial value. I've got knives in my collection that have got not a monetary value, but an emotional connection that if they came up missing, I would absolutely be devastated. But they're also the knives that like people see in videos and they want to see in person. So, but that's most of the new stuff that's come in. There's a couple other things. There's a couple other things that are in. Let me go grab them. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a couple other knives that have come in. I would show you guys the puppy, but he's sleeping. He ate and I finally got him to poop. He's finally sleeping. He tore up, he took a shit in one of my wife's slippers. Her fault. She left it on the puppy pad where the accident area was, and she was asleep, and he pooped in her slipper, not on purpose, but it was funny. So we had to wash her slippers. He he has not been tearing up anything, but he's just like, he's a handful. He's a handful. And the fact that he's asleep, I'm just pretty happy with. So let me go grab a couple things. There's a couple really cool knives that come in. You've already seen them, but if you haven't been following the channel real closely, you could have missed them. There's only like a couple. Wow, my ear is all green. There's only a couple. You know what? Let me turn these lights down a little bit. I think that's the problem. I think I keep these lights too bright. There's a couple that you have not gotten to see really that much. So maybe. Nope, I didn't do a fucking thing. Just I'm about done with StreamYard. Like, they have not resolved any of the issues. Like, I talked to him, I was like, look, your green screen filter is trash. Like, I keep getting artifacts. Everything has a green outline around it. No matter what I do, they're like, oh, there's a slider to adjust the fade. And I'm like, it's trash. Like, it is not sensitive enough. You either you've got a green outline, or you have like, you just disappear here. I'll show you. But anyway, let's look at the knives first. But at any rate, I might be switching software. So the Caladan, the Jim Skelton, the Skelton Blade Works design Caladan, I still have got another video to do about this before it goes back to Lefty. This thing is another S90V awesome, awesome knife. And it's not just because Jim's my friend. I'd be like, oh, you get this knife gets a good review because Jim's got a big channel. I had somebody actually comment that. And I was like, whoa, slow it down, Skippy. Like, I'm objective about everything. Like, I've told you guys knives that friends of mine designed that I didn't like. And I always talk about things that I find on knives I don't like. And I've got things on this knife I don't like, even though Jim is a very good friend of mine. But this is a great, great knife when it comes to comfort and just falling into the way you want a knife to cut, and then just a beautifully done blade shape. The Caladan, the Skelton Blade Works Caladan, is great. And people are like, oh, do we know the OEM? I was like, everyone has announced the OEM. I didn't say it in a video. I didn't 100% know. It kind of slipped my mind. It's Tuya. And everybody's like, oh, do we know who the OEM is? I got news for you. You know, the last thing I ask, the last thing I worry about when I purchase a knife, who did the fucking OEM? I don't care. I know who did the OEM for this one. It's QSP. And QSP has never let me down with a knife that they've either made under their own brand or OEM. They have got some of the best grind work, like consistent grind work out there. It's like Kaiser and QSP and Artisan and Reat and We and Civivi. They are probably on like a different level. Guys, I do have to remind you guys this. Like, I do this, like, I'm basically, every one of my live feeds gets demonetized. I'm doing this for free. If you want to support the channel, there's a membership tab down below. I have sponsors that you can go visit, and I get credit for it when you use the coupon code Crazy Sharp, and you can always drop a super chat on any channel. It just shows the channel you like appreciate it. But the big thing you can do, because I'm going to look right now on my actual channel, and there is 19 likes and 21 people here. So if you have not dropped a like, please do so, because like dropping likes is the easiest thing you can do to support a channel. If you watch a video and you don't drop a like, shame on you. If you don't like it, drop a dislike, but shame on you if you're not doing that. And then the other one that came in is the one that I said is not available, and very few people have even bit on. Jared has one, so he doesn't need one. He was like, no, I got one. He's like, I just haven't done a video about it for a while. The Terramundi. So I'm not talking about Jared when I don't want you guys to think I was talking about Jared Neves. When I talk about channels that just didn't want to do this because it's not available, I was not talking about Jared. Jared absolutely has one of these and has done a couple videos about. This is that Terramundi with the new style button lock, and everybody's like, it's just a deadlock from CR. It's not. It's different. The deadlock has multiple levels and stuff. This is a revisioning of the button lock, but it's done different. Custom EDC knives, thank you very much. If you want to type up all of the details of the website and the knife sale stuff and put it in, one of my moderators will approve it so that your website link can go up. So if you want to type in the stuff about the sale, because like I said, I don't have Instagram on a computer. I don't do Instagram for my personal phone. The phone that I usually talk to you on is somewhere, and I do not know where. Here's some green paper for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's conflicting to say that but YouTube keeps telling you, like when you tell them, I'm like, guys, you're not putting out my stuff. I'm not getting any ad. You have dropped my ad revenue by half. And they're like, well, you could always push super stickers and memberships and super chats. And I'm like, you guys are the worst. Like, fix your shit. Like, you're supposed to, the ad revenue is supposed to pay for this channel, but that's not how it works. So they're always telling us we got to push it. So like I said, if you like dropping super chats, it's fun. It guarantees that your comment's going to get read. But yeah, this is that Terramundi with that modified button lock that's in the pivot. And it's been one of the funniest things to see people comment on that video. Like, well, that's a stupid place for your button. You're going to pinch in on it. You're going to unlock the button. I'm like, I don't know if you know this, but a regular button lock is also right there. And when you're in a pinch grip, you're also on that and you could disengage the lock. I'm like, tell me you've never handled a knife without telling me you've never handled a knife. Any Dutch people in the chat? Well, I'm from Southeast Ohio. I'm close to the Pennsylvania Dutch. In case you guys don't know, that's what they call that's what they call Amish back in Ohio. Is they call them Pennsylvania Dutch. And as a matter of fact, they will say things like being out amongst the English, because that's what they call everyone else in Ohio is the English. If you're not Amish, you're out amongst the English. It's hilarious. It's like being in a different country sometimes. So yeah, that's pretty much most of the new stuff. I do have some new stuff that I don't want to go showing. Am I Amish? No. I grew up around. I said I was close to the Amish. The Amish, as some people will call them. Man, you ever go up to Amish country? No, and you should never say that again. That's not how you pronounce that. So we've got, let me share a screen here. I've got some stuff. Civivi Knife has got some new stuff that has come up. We're going to look at their new arrivals real quick. So there's some stuff that I haven't got to see yet. The Quibbit is a pretty good looking knife. I'm going to tell you right now, though, I am completely over Damascus. Oh, I wanted to address this before we go at it. How many times? I almost said a horse and buggy so many times. I wanted to address this. So I was talking with Russell from Artisan, and they use the same type of Damascus, the stainless steel Damascus that, like, it's all of them. I got news for you. When you're doing 60 and you come up at night on a fucking buggy that is black and their little slow moving vehicle triangle is slightly obscured by mud, they come out of fucking nowhere. It's a black carriage at night, and most of the places that we drive in Ohio, there's no fucking streetlights. There's none. You are in, like, you turn off your headlights and it is deathly black. So like you can't fault someone. Like the buggies get hit all the time, especially on a country road, because not all of them put that little slow moving vehicle triangle on their shit. I can't tell you how many times I've like almost pooped myself because I come around a corner on a country road and there's a fucking buggy on his way back because he didn't make it back from the barn raising before the sun went down. It is an actual hazard. So, any rate, so someone was contacting we and Civivi about their Damascus. Like, well, this is an actual Damascus. Guess what, guys? None of the fucking Damascus will use anymore unless you get true Wootz steel Damascus, which is extremely expensive and very hard to make, and an extremely rare thing to do to make Wootz steel and get the bloom and all that stuff. Unless you are getting that, you're not getting true Damascus. So first of all, everything is a variant of pattern welded, but the stainless steel is not done that way. The stainless steel is done in a powdered metallurgy, and it is done, it's done in layers, and then it's etched. Now, the problem is the etching is nowhere near as deep or as prominent as the garbage hand-hammered Damascus, which, in my opinion, people are like, oh, I wouldn't get that. That's Pachymascus. And this, it's all garbage. All that forged Damascus, in my opinion, is, I don't care. Like, I don't care if you're talking about some of the high-end stuff from Vegas Forge, which I want to make a knife out of their wasp head Damascus. But I'm going to tell you, it is super substandard compared to a lot of the compared to any of the modern steels. So then you have Damasteel and the stainless steel Damascus, which are done like a powdered metallurgy done in a layer to elicit a pattern. And then it's hot rolled and it becomes one consistent piece of steel. They're not forging that. They're not folding that. Everybody's like, well, that makes it garbage. I'm like, not even close. It's way better than forged Damascus. Robert has a knife that I made in hand-hammered Alabama Damascus, and it was nothing but problems. Every piece of it was problems. It's substandard. It like making a hand-hammered Damascus steel blade, unless you are just showing your skill and artfulness, is a waste. If you're buying a collector's piece, I'm not a knife collector that collects things based on artistic value. I collect knives that I like, that appeal to me. Now, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying this is my opinion. But to say that a company is not making actual Damascus because they ground the spine of the blade or brushed the side of this blade and you don't have the pattern all the way across the spine of the blade because you wind up with like a zebra pattern across the back, and then saying, well, that's not Damascus. Well, you're right, because none of what you're getting out there, hand-hammered, hand-forged, folded Damascus, is Damascus. That is called pattern-welded steel, to elicit a pattern that looks like Damascus steel. And if you're going to call a company out, don't be an idiot. Because, like, if you're going to call a company out online and then there's a bunch of other people in the comments section that absolutely know what the fuck they're talking about, you're going to get ratioed. You're going to look like an idiot. But that's what's happening is people are like, well, that's not actual Damascus because you don't have the pattern on the spine. The pattern was on the spine, but they found it unattractive, so they brushed it off with a Scotch-Brite wheel. They ground it off after etch because they didn't like it to look like zebra lines on the spine of the knife. I think let me see. I think I have one. I have one knife that's in a pattern welded type, like Damascus type steel. And hang on a second. It is a stainless steel Damascus, and I think you can see what I'm talking about because the Fair and Forge boys didn't like the way it looked either. So what they did was, after the etch, so you can see the etch on the blade, you can see that pattern. What they did was they reground the spine. So the pattern is there. The pattern's there. It's not put in with a laser. The pattern is actually in that steel. They just cleaned that pattern off of it. And if you were to catch it in just the right light, you can kind of still see the ghost of that on there. But people are complaining about that and saying, well, that's bullshit. That's not actual Damascus. I'm like, stop talking. Stop talking. But the fact is, arguing with stupid people is like playing chess with a pigeon. No matter how well you're doing, eventually that pigeon is going to take a shit on the board and strut around like he won anyway. So I just leave it. I just leave it be. That is my take on that. That's my take on stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. So that's just my take on it. So if you guys see anything like that going on in comments on a video, like, that's bullshit, it's not real Damascus, just go ahead and throw that little nugget of knowledge. Like, yeah, we haven't made actual Damascus steel in hundreds of years, literally hundreds of years. Everything else is a take on it to elicit that same look, which is pattern welded. Now, I will say there are some reasons to fold steel. Like Japanese swords are made with what's called tamahagani steel, which is made from a black ore sand, and it's very impure. And it's a way to folding it is a way to bring the impurities to the surface and equalize the carbon content throughout the steel. And it just the benefit, the unrealized benefit was like, oh crap, you can see this pattern in the steel. That's completely different. That's a completely different scenario. Pattern welding steel, when you get a blade that has got a Damascus steel, even like the Troyer knife, like they're beautiful. With their Starburst Damascus and stuff like that. It's beautiful. I'm gonna say would never own it just for the artistic value of it. That's why they do it. And it absolutely does showcase the fact that they know how to work that steel in different directions and things like that. But functionally, it's an inferior steel functionally. It is. It's just no way around it. There's too many chances for failures and inclusions, and those welds don't take and things like that. So I'm going to look here. There are 29 people and only 26 likes. You guys still are not hitting the like button. So absolutely, when you drop into a video, hit the like. It helps get more people here. I want more people to see these. This is another reason I get frustrated about trying to film. I've had to scrap so many segments and refilm them because they just decided they're going to fly. But at any rate, what I was saying was Civivi has some new blades out. And I have not got to see the Civivi Quibbit yet. That's a good looking knife. I'm not going to lie, but I don't like the blade shape. I don't need something like that. It's only $95. Like if you're looking for $78 for the aluminum, that bright blue aluminum is cool. This is a knife that I could get behind. It's not a bad shape. It looks handle wise a lot like the Elementum. But $78, you can't really go wrong with that. And I have, if you guys are looking for this, I have an affiliate link to Civivi. So if you see any of these knives and you're looking for them, I do have an affiliate link with Civivi that you can look these knives up. This is the one I want to see, which is the Spiny Dogfish. This is a Gavco collab, I believe. Does it say on the designer? Gavco. Yeah, it's a Gavco design collab. I've had a couple people say that it's a really, really good knife. It comes in a few different versions, like that nude G10 or natural G10 or black. And here's the problem. Like if I'm going to get that, I want the blade to be black. If I was to get that one, I would want it with a black blade. I gotta take the sweatshirt off. It's getting hot out here. These lights are on. It's already 71 degrees. It was only like 65 degrees out here, and I've got all my studio lights on now. And so now it's already up to 72. I don't need the sweatshirt. Hang on. Woo, that's better. Going to sharpen, Robert says. Well, good for you. Yeah, that I would want that. I would want that black G10 with a black blade and black liners. I just personally like. I would like it. I would like the green actually as well. I like the green as well. I'm just not as big a fan of green G10 as I am other materials. I would much rather have green micarta. Oh, there is something else. I do have another new knife that we haven't talked much about. Hang on, let me grab it. Yeah, I had it in pocket for a couple hours the other day and haven't done like a full. I haven't done a full first day in pockets review video yet. I'm going to tell you right now, I dig this knife, but it would probably be something that I don't think I would buy. I forgot to show you guys. I have got the Mike Snowdy accelerator, which is a really, really cool knife. But for me, I don't think it's as fun. Like it's because where I'm at in my life and doing things, I don't need a great big knife. It's a very, very good, easy to carry large knife. But it is not. It's not something that I would seek out. But I gotta say, it's Artisan and CGRB's knives are incredibly well done, and they've just gotten better. They've really just gotten better, and the CJRB stuff is just knocking it out of the park with how good it is. So, yeah, I forgot I had that accelerator, and I'll tell you one of the coolest things I like about this knife is just the aesthetic, because you've got that copper pivot collar, and then that copper backspacer with black liners on the really, really good green micarta. So it's a very, very good knife, and it's super comfortable. And but this is something that like more along the lines of like a tactical pocket carry. It's just too big for what I do these days and what I comfortably feel like carrying. Most of the stuff I'm carrying these days are smaller EDC knives. And if you guys are just showing up, please drop a like, drop a comment. It makes the videos go. But yeah, I like the spiny dogfish. There's a Quibbit again, the Quibbit, another spiny dogfish. They don't really have much new. I have this here. No, I don't. I'm sorry. That's the Concept F20. This is a I know who this is. This is a Jeff Tough Thumbs. This is a Tough Thumbs design. I believe. Yeah, Jeff over at Tough Thumbs designed this. That's got his DNA all over it. That looks like a Tough Thumbs knife, that's a really cool knife. The Altus, I have not gotten to see, but I don't know. Well, you know what? That might be in the stuff that Jared sent me. I'm not big on that one. That's not like something that I would just like go out of my way to get. There's another Elementum. That's not anything new. There's the same Concept 22. So that's their new stuff that they've got on there. So you might see, I'm going to try and reach out to Civivi and and see if they want to send some stuff in to be on the channel. So you might see some of those knives. I just haven't got to see them yet. That Quibbit is a good looking little knife, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I can't judge it just by looking at it. Oh, there we go. Had to adjust the back of this chair. So Civivi had some pretty cool stuff up. But I really, Let's go here. I really have to say, and it's not because I design knives for Artisan and we and stuff like that. I really think that their new arrivals here, the Riff, the Cord, we're just going to let it just shuffle through. The Riff, the Cord, and the Echo is my knife of the year right now, especially in this configuration. The button lock, man, this button lock this is such a good knife. So I have the black one here. They have a steel stonewash. They have a black PVD, which is the one that's here at the house. They have a carbon fiber overlay and a micarta overlay on those button locks. This is my knife of the year right now. And I'm going to tell you right now, I reached out to Ray Laconico and I was like, Ray, it's going to be really hard for anything to beat this. And I mean, he was like, what do you mean? I was like, it's really very, very hard for me to conceptually think of something that is going to beat this knife. Especially considering the price point. Oh, 57 now. They were 53 when I did the video. Well, Mark, that's not necessarily just that they're going with it now. There is a definite issue with acquiring M390 right now. Bowler is not producing the levels of M390. And the fact is, M390 was designed for the plastic cuttings industry, and they definitely buy up more of it than anyone. And so if you're getting M390 for knife making, it's available maybe, which is why 20CV and 204P are also starting to show up on a lot of knives that were typically in M390. It's absolutely a demand thing. The companies that do plastic cutting are going to buy that steel, and that's who they support. Bowler Udelholm absolutely supports the plastic cuttings industry before they ever enter the knife making industry, because they sell so much more of that steel to make plastic cutting tools than they ever would knife making tools. Knife making is a drop in the bucket in their actual overall financial plan. It's a small, minuscule amount of their marketplace. They sell some, it's cool. Companies have to put in an order, a massive order, to even be on the map for their sales. And then the company might not want, they might not want to make all their knives in that. So if they're not going to be able to buy that big of an order, and I know this because I tried to buy M390 and I talked to the guy that, not going to name any names, I got in touch with somebody that another pretty famous knife maker that I know pointed me in the direction. He goes, well, we don't have any for sale for knife making stuff. He's like you guys fall in the leftover realm. You get what's uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? I'm trying to make sure, hopefully it's not just Mark. Hopefully it's a Mark issue. Oh, okay, cool. So it's just a Mark thing. All right, cool. At any rate, M390, when I would talk to them, I'm like, yeah, well, we're not selling any M390 for knife making unless you're going to buy, and they were like, literally, you would have to buy a ton for them to make it worth. And I was like, I don't need a ton. Like a gross ton. I was like, I don't need a gross ton. It's like, well, that's the only amount we would be willing to sell. He's like, we're not selling, I needed some small pieces and it wasn't available anywhere. And they're like, we don't do that. You can go through somebody that might buy some and then sell it. So what'll happen is USA Knife Maker will buy a bunch of M390. So they'll buy a bunch of M390 and then cut it into pieces and sell it at a premium because it's unavailable anywhere else, and they have it. So they'll cut it into sizes that you can order. And when you order it, here's the thing that nobody is telling these guys. So everybody's like, oh, they've just got a stock of these pieces in this size. No, they don't. They have several tons worth of sheets of that steel in a thickness. And when you contact them, they will cut you out a piece that size and send it to you. Or they'll have a bunch cut in pre-size. But if you're like, if you need a piece, they're like, is S90V easier to heat treat? I don't know. You would have to ask Elliot. I never did S90V, but I would say most of your super steels, it's about the same heat treat. It's just a different temperature. I'll tell you how it usually works. You'll put your steel in the packets. You'll put it in the oven, and you'll have a computer. The timer, the computer will be set for a certain temperature. When it gets to that temperature, you're going to pull that steel out, and you're going to quench it between the plates or in the oil, however you're looking at doing it. And then you're going to put it in an oven for a set amount of time at a set temperature. Sometimes you repeat that. It's not that it's any easier. Some steels are picky about the heat treat. Some steels you allow a variant, or they give you a variance. But if you're using a heat treat oven, it's going to be easy. It's going to be the same process. It's just like, how long is the process going to take? 20 CV takes a long time. You got to take that shit all the way to 2200 degrees. 2200 degrees. It's a lot of degrees. It takes that oven a very long time to get to that temperature. And then you're going to pull it out, you're going to quench it. And then you either have to have a separate oven, or you have to blow a fan into that oven to cool it down to the set temperature that you want to then temper it at, to give it the toughness. So it's not just hard. It's not just brittle. And so you'll put it like 20 CV. You take it to 20 CV M390 204P. You take it 2200 degrees, you quench it, and you put it in an oven for 1000 degrees for 2 hours. You take it out, you put it on a plate, and you just, like, after it's not in the packet anymore. It's not all wrapped up in the steel foil anymore. And you put it on a plate of aluminum. You allow it to cool down until it doesn't melt skin when you touch it. You want to be able to at least like that long and not go, I smell steak. That's so you give it the tap test. You could probably pee on it and see, but you don't want to do that. You quench it too. But so you just let it cool down a little bit, and you put it back in that oven for another 2 hours at 1000 degrees. And you pull out your liquid, and then you've got a well heat treated steel that you're able to, like, I would always do post heat treat grind. It's harder. It uses more stuff, but you got a lot less chance that you're going to like have a complete catastrophic failure of your material. So the heat treat's pretty much the same. It's just like, how long does it take to get to that first temperature? Like, how long does it take me to get to that final, like, how long is it going to take that oven to heat up to where I can quench it? And then the other oven to get up to the 1000 degrees. But the nice thing is, you know, a lot of times you can do a lot of other stuff. You just have to keep an eye on the oven and make sure that you're watching your temperature progress, and you don't leave it in there to soak at 2200 degrees for like 10 minutes, because it will melt everything on the outside of it. That steel packet will just dissolve, and then you wind up with rapid oxidation of your materials at that temperature. So guys, give me a second. I gotta go check. I hear the dog making a noise. I want to go check. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. If you see the numbers of people show up change, inform them that I will be right back. I'll be right back. I think he's having a dream. I think he's just whimpering in his sleep. So yeah, heat treat heat treat is time consuming, and it can make or break the knife that you're working on. But it also is not that, it's not that hard. So you're able to do a lot of other things. You just want to keep a track on it. You just babysit a knife. Like if you have a day of heat treat and you don't have anything else to do, it's a very long day. Like I've started heat treat on a knife at like 7 a.m. and not been done till like 5:30 p.m. Well, like a handful of knives, because it takes a while. It really does. But if you've got, if you've got like a bunch of other stuff to do, like say you've got a knife that's almost done, you're making handles, or you're refinishing some pocket knives for people, if you're doing some anodizing, it makes for just a day that's a very light day that you could just goof off and do little things. Like you don't want to get all involved in like grinding another knife. But if you're doing like small things like fitting up a handle or anodizing hardware or ceramic coating something or doing some final grind work or some orange peel on titanium scales and pocket clips, it's a perfect day for that, because you can just like have a couple beers and goof off and just keep an eye on the oven. And it was always one of my favorite. I always liked doing Saturday heat treat because I could get up to the shop. I had a key to Fair and Forge Knife Works at the time, and I could go up the shop and I could just absolutely get into a heat treat day and just goof off. And I would go across the parking lot to the restaurant and get a sandwich over at the pool hall, and then come back. And, you know, it was just a day where you could just kind of just goof off. I did almost catch a shop on fire one time by accident, but you know, hey, that's just one of those things. But yeah, let's go back to, these new CJRB and artisans. These new CJRB and artisan knives are really, really knocking it out of the park. Now, these are awesome. And I've got a news for, I did a link. I did a, what do you want to call it? I did a community post. Let's see. I did a community post about those knives. These ones, they're not going to be around long, and they're on sale. I have got one of these that's going to be a giveaway. Now I'm keeping, like I said, I'm keeping the Warrenclyffe one that they sent me just because I've beat it up enough. I don't feel good about sending it out. I may take the blade out and just refinish the blade, like stonewash it, and then see how that looks, and do it as a giveaway that way. And it would just be modified by me. But, oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, these are all winners. The CJRB Riff, the Cord. I'm not as big a fan. I like the Riff, but I definitely like the Cord better. I have a Riff that I'm going to be giving away on the channel. I have a Cord, not sure what I'm going to do with that. I have one of these. These things are awesome. The Nebulax, and I have this. So those are all like just stuff that just kind of came out that's here. The accelerator's cool, like I said, I just showed you. And then they have some takes on the new, on some of their older stuff. I love the CJRB Crag. And this one is in Rose Damascus at $89. And you've got this one, which is the Andromeda, which I liked. It's another Laconico design I really liked, but I gave the one that I had here away because I get so much stuff. I've been getting some stuff that has been coming in lately, and it's just more stuff. Hey, Brian, what's going on? If you cool down your oven with a fan instead of letting it cool down with the door closed over a long period of time, it'll wear out the heating elements. Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to mention. But if you leave a blade sit after you did a 2200 degree heat treat on it, I've never done it because I only did heat treat if both ovens were working. So we had you had the quench oven, and then you had the temper oven, and you could use them both. And it was great because I watched Robert Bodiger when he was still making knives. I watched Robert put a knife down and quench it and leave it set for like 4 or 5 hours. And we came back and we heard a ding and the blade snapped just from like sitting there and having all that internal stress and not having been through a temper cycle. But he also, I forget what steel he was making out of, and it was not 20 CV. Heating elements aren't too expensive. Yeah, they're not that hard to swap out either. So yeah, I would always set myself up on a day where I knew that both ovens were working or that I could use both ovens. Like if Elliot was using, sometimes Elliot would heat treat the lock bar inserts. He would heat treat his lock bar inserts and his stop pins. And on a day like that, he was just using one oven. He was just hardening those like a spring temper or so. I forget how he did it, but that meant that I wasn't able to use both ovens. I just wouldn't heat treat on those days because I liked the convenience of having 2 separate ovens. One that was going to a set temperature and one that was already at the temperature. It's already 1,000 degrees. I'd stick those blades in 1,000 degrees, just fucking put them in there, leave them for 2 hours, pull them out, let them get to room temperature, then put them right back in the oven for another 2 hours for that double temper cycle. So, but yeah, that's the stuff that Artisan has got up on their page, which, like I said, they're all of those are really, really good options. I have got an affiliate link down below in the description of the videos. If you guys want to pick any of the CJRB and Artisan stuff up, I'd appreciate if you use my affiliate links. Guys, also, all 26 of you that are here, please copy the link for my Amazon store, pin it to your browser, and use that for any of the Amazon shopping you're doing. No one's using my Amazon store. Like I literally have talked about it in every video since I set it up. It is 100% just a link to Amazon. It has the same search tab. It's got my list of idea stuff. But if you take that and pin it to your browser, and anything you buy on Amazon, diapers, like dildos, I don't care what you're buying. I can't see what you're buying. I can see what you're buying, but I can't see who bought it. So don't think like I'm going to like, Mock Clown bought a butt plug. I mean, he probably did, but I'm not going to be able to see who did it. So, you know, if you guys would do that to help out with you know what I don't like about this? Where is this? Let me star this. Starred. There we go. I've got to tell Jared how to do that. Somehow they changed settings on the StreamYard, and super chats are auto starred, and it makes it really hard to see. So I'm going to take a snapshot of that. Hang on a second. Let me star this. And I'm doing this for Jared. Like Kira was complaining about it, and I absolutely had the same issue. I'm going to text this to Jared. There we go. There we go. Mike, you know I wear a leather football helmet. Robert, I'm surprised you don't wear a hockey helmet like all the time. So use my Amazon link. And like I said, if you guys are looking for knives, I have GP knives, knives ship free. I'll make sure that there's a full link, a full list. Hang on. Actually, I can do that right now. I'm going to copy this whole thing. And I'm going to post this in the comments. And if you guys want to take any of these down, these are a list of all of my affiliate links. So any of the stuff you've seen, oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work the way I want. Hang on. I can't put user. I can't put user in timeout. Okay, so basically, so there's links. I'll make sure that I drop that in the. Actually, I'll just go and I'll drop that in the description of this video. So let me see here. Wow. I'm gonna leave a comment on my own. Let me see here. How do I make a comment? Oh, I can't. Okay, well. Oh well. I will I'll get it figured out. I'll get it figured out somehow. So at any rate, I have a bunch of affiliate links. If you guys are looking for knives, just you can go. GP Knives is great. Knives ship free. I don't know if there's a problem with the link or what. I've had 3 people tell me they've used my knife ship free link. I have validated it and checked it twice, and I have not gotten anything from it. So I'm going to take my knife ship free one down. I'm going to reach out to them. So there's some issues, but yeah, those were pretty much the knives that I want to look at. Was the Civivi and the Wii stuff. I was going to look at the new stuff from I was going to look at new stuff from Spyderco, because generally I was kind of interested in what their new stuff is. But the fact is, I went on their website and I looked, and none of their stuff is actually new. The mule is there. Like, it's all stuff that they've had forever. And I'm like, guys, these aren't new. And it's like, new. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's just in a different color. That's not new. That's like when my Stonefish was up for best new fixed blade at Blade Show West in Portland. And it being a brand new knife, had just released, lost to the SOG Seal Pup. And I'm like, how the fuck? I had a SOG Seal Pup that was issued to me in 2000. Jesus, 2003, 2002. In 2002, I had a SOG Seal Pup that was issued to me as a knife when I went on a deployment. When I did my second shore deployment, like combat deployment, like I did an IA, an individual augmentation. That was my second one, right? When I was boots on ground, I was a sailor, a fleet of 1. I was a dirt sailor. I absolutely had one of those issued to me. I was like, how the fuck is that a new fixed blade? And that's when I realized that the whole Blade Show, Blade Magazine awards thing is so fucking skewed. That's why you never see me do much coverage of like the knife of the year for Blade Magazine. You know why? I'll tell you. Because it's fucking bullshit. It's 100% who had the money to buy that fucking award. It's a bunch of bullshit. Now, there are some that absolutely are judged like the best artist, the best, whatever. Oh, hey! Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. I love getting super chats. I am going to do a super chat only video. I'm going to do a members video one of these weekends. It's going to be a members video, and you got to drop a super chat if you want to be seen. Because that's just one of those things that us YouTubers have got to do, because YouTube is fucking us. The Seal Pup was one of the first fixed blades I got when I was hella young. Pretty sure it was what seeded my interest in knives at a young age. I remember when it first came out. And then I remember it had been out for a while. I saw it in a magazine. Blade Magazine, as a matter of fact. Back when they absolutely used to sell magazines and books like at regular stores. So I was the post PX commissary exchange area. And I saw it, and I remember that came out, and then I was issued one a few years later. So I'm like, how the fuck does that even work? And everybody was like, well, I was like, that's some bullshit right there. Almost as bad as putting my sea snake up against the Terzuola fixed blade in the best tactical category. I'm like, why were there other knives in that category? Like, that's one, honestly, that you're like, that one didn't get bought. Like, that's just because it's Bob's knife. Like, I was like, I don't know why I even put it in the case. I came in the next day and people were like, did you look and see if your knife won? I was like, you know that Bob Terzuola's design was in that category as well. We're like, yeah, but how did you could have won. I was like, look at him. He's retarded. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, where's your handler? Do you have your Guardian with you? If you thought that my little Warrenclyffe knife was going to compete against the Terzuola tactical design that went in. I have a knife giveaway. Okay, so the coffee giveaway is coming. I'm going to do the giveaway, and here's how it's going to work. I'm going to let you guys know. I just talked with them, and I want to know how they wanted to do it. I was like, are you going to give me like a gift card code, or are you going to give me an actual package to have on hand? Or is it going to be that I provide you the address and you just send it? And they're like, yeah, we want you to provide us the address. I'm like, well, that's my least favorite option because that requires a lot more interaction for me. But yes, we do have a coffee giveaway coming. We may have another one. So every month that I have 10 sales of Coffee Brand Coffee, they sponsor a giveaway. And they're going to give away one item to one of my paying members or to one of my subscribers. So if you guys want more stuff given away on the channel, absolutely check them out. Like, I'm going to tell you guys right now, okay, we're going to do a Coffee Brand Coffee thing. A lot of people are like, what's the big deal? Why are you trying to push this coffee so hard? And it's because I am so sick of companies. Like, you see it all, the Bud Light thing, the Miller Lite thing, the Starbucks thing, the Target thing. They're absolutely supporting things that I don't fucking agree with. And it's not like they're supporting things I do agree with. They're not supporting anything, which is what I want. Fucking, I don't want to have to think about the fact that a product I buy may be providing money to something I don't approve of, like gun control. I don't approve of gun control. I am absolutely 2A. I am 2A. It's the best thing. Like, you can tell me all the time that, like, oh no, guns are bad. No, they're not. My guns sit around all the time and they've never jumped up and shot anyone. Never once. Never once have one of my firearms gotten angry and taken it out on a bystander. Never once. Responsible gun owners should not have to worry about the fact that, like, why are you taking responsible gun owners, law-abiding citizens' firearms from them when they're not the problem? Because, I don't know if you know this, the people that have the firearms that are the problem are already criminals. And if you already have, there's so many gun laws already in place, they're not, obviously the criminals aren't paying attention. Want to do a coffee trade? No, I do not want to buy coffee and send you coffee. I don't. I want you to buy coffee. I already have I already have found my preferred coffee vendor. I'm not trying another one. Black Rifle Coffee, fuck those guys. They fell on the wrong side of a debate that I absolutely disagreed with them. You can agree with them if you want, but I'm never going to buy Black Rifle Coffee again. Starbucks, wrong side of a debate. Never going to buy that again. Bud Light, didn't like Budweiser in the first place. Never going to buy that again. Or any other Anheuser-Busch product. And I loved Busch beer, but I'm never going to buy that again. But that's okay. I pretty much quit drinking anyway. Do I want to trade coffee? No. I don't. I found a brand that absolutely does what I want, which is just make coffee. They're not going on political podcasts. They're not doing any of those things. They're simply making a good product. I'm starting to do that. There is a slew of companies out there that you can find that are like, we're not doing this. We're not playing this game. We don't care about ESG. I would advise you guys to seek out those companies and purchase from them. Is it a little bit more expensive? Yes. But guess what? I don't have to worry, because you know what follows gun control real closely, right? Knife laws. When they're more restrictive, people stop having, they make it more difficult to get the weapon of choice. And therefore, criminals resort to the next logical step, which is this: a knife, which is absolutely a tool. And then they're like, oh, well, now knife violence is up. Knife violence is up. But what they don't look at is, if you were to look at how many crimes are executed with a pocket knife or a Kyle Rittenhouse, that's all I gotta say. They fell on the wrong side of that debate. And I'm like, as a veteran, I'm very, very disappointed in that company. And it's not just that. There's other things they've said and done, but I absolutely disagree with. And I just will never purchase their products again. I know one of the founders of the company, and I'm still like, never going to do it. These are not the knives that wind up committing violent crimes. Kitchen knives are. Weapon of opportunity. They never are going to tell you that. So I don't want to support companies that might support causes I'm against, because the fact is, eventually the trickle down is they start affecting things that I love. So just something to think about. Like, I'm not telling you, just go buy this because it supports the channel. I'm telling you, go buy it because it doesn't support things you might not believe in. They're not going to support anything that you don't like. Kitchen knives, because the wife turns around and grabs it and stabs the wife or mistress. That goes both ways. That goes both ways. Crime of passion, you're not digging around in your pocket to find something. You're grabbing what's at hand. You happen to be in the kitchen chopping up an onion, and then the next thing you know, you're on the news. So just saying, that's my 2 cents on it. I'm just tired of, companies betraying me and taking my money and using it against me. And I'm trying really hard to find companies. I'm trying very, very hard to find companies that don't do that. You know what? I've never seen, like, you're welcome to do whatever you want as an adult. I don't have to agree with it and I don't have to approve of it, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you, you can't have events. But I've never seen a Navy federal pride float. You know why? Because that shit costs money. You know where that money's coming from? My fucking bank account. You know what that bank should be doing? Using my money properly, investing it properly, making revenue for the bank, so that when I come in and take out a loan, I don't have to worry about the fact, or if I go to open up my bank account and pull out some cash, you're like, oh, sorry, we had to freeze all the assets because the bank fucked up. TKL Knives, veteran owned, veteran operated. You know why I like Tim? Because Tim's putting out knives that are better than almost everyone else on the market. And he's doing it at $200. And everybody's like, you can't have an American-made knife at that price. Bullshit. Well, Benchmade's so expensive because it's American-made. Bullshit. Tim's fixed blades at the $200 price point, starting at $200, fucking kicks Benchmade's fixed blades in the fucking dick. Don't tell me it can't be done, because you know what? He's doing it. TKL Knives, Tim over at TKL Knives, TKL the Guardian, the TKL You guys seen the videos? I've done videos about them. Veteran made, USA made, in-house, basic customs. Yes, TCAL. Tell me you don't watch my videos without telling me you don't watch my videos. Everyone, I didn't say Navy. I'm not in the Navy anymore. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm saying the bank that I use. I've done 2 videos and everybody's like, oh, you don't do enough American made knives. I put up the thing. I put up in the title that it was USA made, veteran owned and operated company, and no one watched the fucking video. Tell me you're not actually interested in the things that you tell me you're interested in without actually doing it. Like, tell me that you're not interested in what you tell me without telling me. Vote with those views, because I absolutely even put a pew pew in the thumbnail of that video. No one watched it. I mean, people watched it. Don't get me wrong. People watched it. My worst performing video in 6 months was on an American made knife made by a veteran. It just tells me that people say these things in comments that they don't actually mean. It's like when people say shit like, oh, I'd do that. I'd buy that. No, you won't. I had a merchandise store. You know how many people are, when are you going to have a merchandise store? When are you going to have a merchandise store? I went through and I looked at it. I sold 15 shirts. Everybody said, when are you going to do a merchandise? When are you going to do merchandise, shirts and shit? I'm like, I got it. It's here. It's available. I talk about it in videos. I linked it. 15 shirts. I bought 3 of them. Tell me you don't actually want what you're telling me you want without telling me. You voted with your dollars. I don't have a merchandise store anymore. It was not financially viable for the company to continue to have space on their server and to have designs and stuff set aside. So basically they lost money because they had some of my shirts printed and they never sold. Now, granted, they were very, very cool about not charging me for that, but they absolutely lost money on that deal because everybody said they wanted something that they didn't actually want. So I won't ever do it again. It'll be a print on demand. It won't be something where you get it and you sign up for it. And nope. If I do it, they're going to be shitty, because the thing was, the company that I used for the merchandise was absolutely one of the best. They had the best merchandise. Their shirts were great. The material was great. The printing was spot on. They were amazing shirts. And they weren't that expensive. So whatever you get now is going to be garbage. I know. But the thing is, like, I was like, if enough people tell me you want it, I'll do it. So that's just the way I look at it. But so I'm at that point where my frustration levels with a lot of stuff that go on, not you guys. I'm at a point where there's frustration levels I have with so much stuff that goes on that I'm checked out. I'm not doing it. If that means that I don't buy the hot dog brand that I really like anymore, then I don't do it. If that means that the product I'm buying isn't the one that I've grown up using, like say Heinz ketchup decided they were going to support causes I didn't agree with. Well, guess what? There's plenty of other companies that make ketchup. I've had Del Monte ketchup. We used it for a long time. It's actually pretty good. There's so many other brands of all this stuff. And that's what Bud Light has found out. Like, oh no, we're actually a business. We're here to make money. F around and find out. I will never buy another Anheuser-Busch product in my life. People are like, oh, what if they apologize? Don't care. That was their jump the shark moment. That was the end. I won't ever buy another Anheuser-Busch product. I don't buy Coke. I have not had a can of Coke unless it's from a restaurant, and that's the option that they give you when they give you the value meal. I have not had a Coke or a 7-Up or any of the Coke or Pepsi products except maybe a Mountain Dew. I have not had those in a very long time. You know what I do buy? I buy the off-brand stuff. I buy the cheap stuff. I'm like, what? Screw you. You're not taking my money and charging me an exorbitant amount because it's not any better. Yes, absolutely right. There's plenty of other shitty beer to replace it with. I typically reserve this stuff for my Rumble channel, but I didn't set up Rumble. So yeah, Tim's great. I talked to Tim on the phone a few times. I think I'm going to send Tim a couple of my designs and see if we can't do a collab of one of the designs I really want to get released. And I've always wanted it to be an American-made knife. And so since there's so many other garbage, like I'm not going to say any names, but I have reached out to other companies and I did not reach out to Greg Medford and I didn't reach out to, there's a couple other companies I didn't reach out to about it. I absolutely reached out to a few companies to try and get some some licensed designs through them. And they were like, oh, you got to pay us this much money. You know what? At this point, like, I'm not going to pay you for a product you're going to sell and make money on. So Drink Water would be proud of me. So, well, guys, it's been an hour and a half. I have got to take that dog out. It's been fun. If you guys want to do a last minute super chat to get recognized, I would appreciate it. Like, that's what supports the channel. Like I've said it a bunch of times. That's what YouTube's telling us content creators to do. If you don't believe me, go watch Jeremy over at Quartering. Like, he has someone that he talks to at YouTube, and they're telling him the same thing that they tell me. Like, oh, if you're worried about your revenue, you can always push super chats and all this. But that's where we're at, because like, if I don't get super chats, the live feeds are done for free. This won't be monetized. None of my live feeds are monetized. So if you guys want to support channels, there's a membership tab down below. You can always join. If you want to support channels, you can always drop super chats if you want. I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying, like, it's available if you want to support channels. It's always awesome when you guys do it. It's a lot of fun. I wish I got more of them. I used to get more of them. I don't know what happened, but it still works. The button still works, but like, I get it. No one's got any money. So I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to go check on the dog. I'm going to check on the stuff I've got cooking for lunch, or for dinner, I should say. And for 2A Dave when he comes down tomorrow. So, the best way you guys can support the channel, check out the two sponsors up here. I'm taking this one off. I have not sold anything on Dollstrong for freaking year. So I'm going to take it off. I'm going to take the link down too. No one's using it. It's just taking up space. So like that. And then the affiliate links down below to all the various vendors, Blade HQ, Artisan, Civivi. I've got links to all those. So if you're going to check out any knives, I would appreciate if you use my links. And like I said, the Amazon store, you can take that link, copy it to your browser, and just use that as your Amazon shopping. Oh, wife's home. So yeah, it's a bright light off to my right. So actually it's not. It's pretty cloudy and hazy. Guys, that's it. I love you all. Keep it clean. I'll talk to you later.